everyone, welcome back to Drive Steady. There's a frenzy of C8 Corvette news everywhere, and rightfully so, as it's been a huge success since its release. The order guide was recently made available, and there's a visualizer tool to help us configure the mid-engine Corvette to our specification. Will it be enough for me to switch over from my Shelby GT350? Stick around and you'll find out. I want to mention the order guide really quickly, as it's a pretty daunting document with 36 pages and a lot of funny looking codes like LPO and UH3 and XYZ, yada yada yada. And it doesn't help that there's so much repetition in this thing. Chevrolet could have summed it up in about 8 or 9 pages, but somebody stood up and said, nope, 36 pages. So what we'll do is we'll break it down for you using the visualizer tool as an aid. I'll explain the 3 trim levels, tell you what comes standard and what you get in the higher trim levels, and also reveal our specification. One thing to keep in mind is that this order guide does not have pricing details yet. Once Chevrolet releases those on August 15, I'll create another detailed video related to the pricing and the options. That's enough talking, so let's jump right into the details and the configurator. Here we are on the Chevrolet website. Let's go to the Design Yours tool. Okay, so here we are on the C8 visualizer tool. Chevrolet wants us to go into the exterior colors first, but we're going to skip that and jump right into the trim levels and then come back to the exterior colors once we're done there. But in the trim levels, you've got the 1LT, which is the standard trim. The 2LT is one level up, and the 3LT is the top of the line trim for the C8 Corvette. The 1LT trim has 8-way power GT1 seats. GT1 seats are covered in Moulin leather, keyless access and push button start, driver mode selector with Valet Mode. The driver mode selector is actually pretty cool. It's this new toggle switch that they've got in the center right next to the area where you control your transmission. And the Valet Mode is also another very useful item for those who don't like giving their car to the valet or have valet horror stories. What this does, it locks down your Corvette, it limits the performance, locks it down to a certain speed, restricts access to your glove box. So the Valet Mode is really nice. The dual zone electronic climate control, of course, is something that's typical, but let me tell you this, it's not standard in all cars. I can tell you a review that I did of the Cayman GT4 and the 718 Spyder from Porsche. Those have single zone climate control. So Chevy's giving you dual zone climate control, a locking glove box, HD rear vision camera, and parking assistant. And then you've got the leather wrapped flat bottom steering wheel, which is very nice. I'm very glad it's not covered in Alcantara as standard. As you know, I'm not a big fan of Alcantara. Then you've got the Bose 10 speaker audio system, which makes a return in the C8. The Sirius XM satellite radio for 3 months. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that if you go for the 1LT trim, you get the Sirius XM radio for 3 months. If you get the 2 or 3LT trim, you get it for 12 months. And then you've got the 8-inch diagonal touchscreen that's being run by the Chevrolet Infotainment 3 software system, and then followed by the 12-inch gauge cluster. Basically what this is, it's an area where you can see your RPMs, your speedometer, your gas gauge, basically everything that's analog in your typical car is being replaced by an all-digital gauge cluster. And then you've got the Bluetooth phone connection and your phone projection. Another thing I found out in the order guide is that the Corvette now has NFC, which is a technology called near field communication. What this does, it allows you to configure or pair your phone via the screen of the car. So what you do, as it's described in the order guide, is you take your phone, you enable NFC, you flip it around so the screen of your phone is pointing to that 8-inch diagonal screen in the car, and using the NFC feature, the phone and the car will connect without having to go through any menus or any software in your settings to connect like you usually do with Bluetooth. So that's an interesting feature. I want to see that in person. Next is the steering wheel mounted controls. That's self-explanatory. The express window power up and down, the visors, power tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and the cabin air filtration system. Now all these things are pretty standard and self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go over those. Now one thing to keep in mind with this 1LT trim, yes, it's very well equipped for an everyday driver. It's got all the features you need and nothing you really don't, no overkill items. However, one thing to remember is that Chevrolet is unlike other manufacturers. They don't allow you to pick and choose options a la carte. For example, several items that are available in the higher level trims will not be available as additions into the 1LT trim. For example, You cannot get a rear view camera mirror. You can't get GT2 seats in the 1LT. You can't get two-tone seats. If you want black seats with adrenaline red custom stitching, sorry. If you want yellow stitching, no can do. If you want carbon fiber in your interior, can't do it. If you want the front lift system, which I think will be very popular, can't have it. Heads up display, front camera, wireless charging, side blind spot alerting. You can't get any of this stuff in the 1LT. Now, a couple of things you can option in are the performance data recorder, PDR as it's known as. A PDR is basically a camera that's mounted behind your rearview mirror, and it records while you're on the track. It takes account for your track times and your overlays, your speed, your RPMs, and basically information about your car. One interesting thing that Chevrolet has done is that they have added a dash cam feature, so when you're putting around town, you can enable this feature and use it as a dash cam. So that's very helpful and very thoughtful from Chevrolet. Then you've got navigation, which you can add back into the 1LT. And finally, you've got the competition seat. Now, one thing that made me scratch my head is, why aren't they letting me pick the less expensive GT2 seat, but they're allowing me to pick the most expensive competition seat? And then I thought to myself, well, the people who are probably going to pick the 1LT trim are looking for the lightest car and want the most performance, and the competition package is geared more for those types of people looking for that performance edge. But I think it's very thoughtful of Corvette to offer the competition seat in the lowest level trim. But going back to the a la carte options, you get the picture. Corvette is not going to allow you to add in options in your 1LT trim. It's just something to keep in mind of, because I see the 1LT trim gaining a lot of steam online. A lot of people look like they're going to go for it, and I'm bringing this up so those people are aware. It's something to keep in mind if you like some of these other features available in the higher level trim. Now, the 2LT trim. The 2LT trim gives you a lot of stuff. So let's go over those. You get the heads-up display, the power lumbar and wing adjustment, which makes the Corvette seat 10-way adjustable. Remember, in the 1LT package, it's an 8-way adjustable seat. Then you've got the wireless phone charging, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, which was available in the Camaro and has now found its way into the Corvette. Bose 14-speaker audio system. In the 1LT, it's 10 speakers, so you get 4 additional speakers in the 2LT and the 3LT. You've got the navigation and the performance data recorder. As I mentioned, these can be optioned back into the 1LT. You don't have to get the 2LT if you like these options. Then the Sirius XM radio with that 1-year subscription that I mentioned before, followed by the universal garage door opener, and then the power folding mirrors, the rear camera mirror. Now this is something that they got from Cadillac, in that your rear view camera is projected in your rear view mirror. This will be helpful for those people who like to look at their rear view mirror when they're backing up, as opposed to looking at the 8-inch infotainment screen. Finally, you've got the memory package, the curved view cameras, which are the front view cameras. There's 2 cameras mounted in the front of the spoiler, which help you get in and out of tight areas without scratching your spoiler. Then the side blind zone alert, which is basically your blind spot system, and your rear cross traffic alert, followed by the advanced theft deterrent system and the parcel nets. So you get a whole bunch of stuff in the 2LT. I'd be interested to see how much in addition you'll have to pay for it, because there's so much stuff included in it. Now moving over into the 3LT. The 3LT is basically the luxury package of the C8 Corvette. You get the GT2 seats, which are covered in Nappa leather and carbon fiber, and you've got the custom leather wrapped interior, suede wrapped upper interior trim, and leather wrapped lower doors. Like you can see here, it just adds more leather and more sway all over the place. It makes the interior a nicer place to be. So now that we've covered the 3 trim levels, let's go into our configuration of the C8 Corvette. Since we're on the trims here, I'm going to go ahead and pick my trim level, and for me, I really like the 3LT trim. I really like having a nice interior, and I think the C8 has done a nice job with its interior, offering more leather all over the place. I think this is going to be a really, really nice interior. I can't wait to see it in person. Next, let's go to the colors. Now, I have one gripe with Corvette here, in that I see a lot of carryover colors and not much difference from the C7 generation. For example, all of these colors, black, arctic white, ceramic matrix gray, shadow gray, Elkhart blue, torch red, Sebring orange, they're all the same colors from the C7. The 3 new colors are Zeus bronze, accelerate yellow, and rapid blue. I wish there was a green color here, something like a lizard green from Porsche, or even some type of purple. But I don't know. I feel like Chevrolet could have done a better job. Who knows, maybe we'll see it later on. But let's go ahead and pick a color for this specification. I really like the Sebring orange tint coat, even though I'm complaining about that it's a carryover color. I've always found orange cars interesting. If they had a green one, I would have picked the green one, but Sebring orange tint coat it is for me. And then let's switch over and pick a Targa top color. So they give you three options: body color, transparent. Let's let the camera, let's lift it up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So that's the transparent, and then you've got the visual carbon fiber. I think for me, I've never had a transparent roof, therefore I like this transparent roof. So the transparent top it is. And then you come over to the performance and the wheels. And the first option they make you pick is the Z51 package. Let me switch my camera over. Alright, so the Z51 package. In the Z51 package you get different tires. These are summer tires as opposed to the all seasons you get standard in the C8. And then you've got an upgraded suspension labeled FE3, and then they've got an FE4 which is similar to the FE3, but you get magnetic ride control in addition. And you've got larger front and rear brakes, extra cooling, and then you've got an electronic limited slip differential which replaces the mechanical rear differential, and a larger rear spoiler which provides 400 pounds of downforce. This is the rear spoiler here. I have to say I'm not a big fan of it. It's not bad, but I feel like they could have made it look better. Anyway, the last item in the Z51 is the performance exhaust, which gives you 495 horsepower. One thing to keep in mind is that if you don't get the NPP or the performance exhaust or the Z51 package, you'll have a 490 horsepower Corvette. So for us, we do like the Z51 package. And the next item are the wheels. Here's one thing that I noticed Chevy is doing differently in its approach with these wheels. For example, in the C7, if you went with the base Stingray, you got a certain type of wheel. If you went with the Z51, you got a different type of wheel. If you didn't get the Z51, you couldn't get the Z51 wheels. But in the C8, Chevrolet is allowing you to pick any type of wheel that you like, whether you get the Z51 or not. I think that's really smart, and it doesn't lock you down to a Z51 package if you want a certain type of wheel. Let me flip my camera over to the other side so we get a nice view of these wheels. Alright, so for my Sebring orange exterior paint color, I like two options. I like the carbon flash open spoke, and I also like this Accessory performance pewter open spoke. Now, my speculation is, just based off of this visualizer, is this is going to be a gold type wheel. Now, I'm not a fan of gold wheels. However, for some reason, I'm liking it with this orange color paint. So for that reason, I'm gonna go with the pewter open spoke design wheel, blade being painted in carbon flash. I don't like it in the body exterior. I'm one of those guys who likes a contrast and likes different colors on the car. Next is a carbon flash painted mirrors and spoiler. I really like the way Chevrolet has done the mirrors in this car, and I feel like you lose track of the really nice design for these mirrors. So for that reason, I'm gonna skip over the carbon flash painted mirrors and spoiler. And then you've got the Accessory carbon fiber mirrors and the Accessory carbon fiber grille. I'm gonna skip over those. Now coming over into the Accessory ground effects, you've got three options. You can have them in visible carbon fiber, you can have them in carbon fiber but painted in carbon flash, and then you can just have them painted black. For me, I don't like any one of these options. I'm going to leave them unchecked. Now here's one thing that hasn't been talked about much, and that's the high wing spoiler. I really like this look versus the Z51 spoiler. I think it enhances the look of the mid-engine. So let's switch over to the back here. So here's a visual of that high wing spoiler here. One of the things I'm curious about is, why are there 4 mounting brackets? I still think this looks better than the Z51 package wing. However, it would have looked so much better if it didn't have these edge to mounting areas and they just had the center mounts instead. Then you've got the side rockers here. So you again have 3 options. You can get them in visible carbon fiber, you can have them painted in carbon flash metallic, or in black. I'm not going to pick any of these as well. And then you've got the engine, the stripes, and the accessory fenders. I'm just going to start off by saying I'm not picking any stripes and I'm not picking any hash marks. So let's round it out with the engine. Because now we've got the engine in the back and you've got a glass cover on top of it, of course you've got to show that off, right? And Chevy's giving you some nice options. You can have your engine cover in black, red, or in silver. For me, I'm going with the black, as I feel like this red option here is too much red and it won't look good with my orange exterior paint. And then the engine appearance package, which is something that's very cool. It's basically the engine appearance package adds LED lights to illuminate the engine, along with carbon fiber accent panels. So you get the carbon fiber added in these areas here, which looks very, very cool. This is something I'm definitely picking. Since we've got the trims covered, let's go to the interior colors. Okay, so now let's pick an interior color, and since we've got the 3LT trim selected, all of these are at our disposal, including this custom interior combination. However, for me, with this orange exterior paint, I was going back and forth with the jet black or the sky cool gray, and I decided that I want the sky cool gray. I think this offers a very, very unique combination with the orange exterior and the lighter color sky cool gray. I think this is going to look really, really nice in person. And let's come over to the custom interior combination, which we will not touch, and then the carbon fiber trim package. This is something we like. We're definitely speccing this. Let me switch the camera over so you get an idea of what's being added here. So the carbon fiber trim is added here on your door panels on both sides, and you've got carbon fiber in this area, and you've also got the carbon fiber dash here. So that covers our interior colors. And then we've got the seats. So because we picked the 3LT trim, we get the GT2 seats, and I'm totally fine with that. I think visually the GT2 seat and the competition seat are essentially the same. The only difference is you get this performance textile trim in the high wearing areas. So for example, these side bolsters, when you get in and out of the car, you will be touching these the most. Therefore, this leather will probably get worn out after a certain period of time. But the performance textile adds that material here, and it will be more durable when coming in and out of the car. So for us, like I said, it's the GT2 with the leather material. We are definitely not picking suede, and we're not going with the two-tone. And then moving on over into the seatbelt color. I was glad to see that Chevy is offering a lot of different options here, and we're just gonna go with the standard black, as I feel all of these other colors would just make it look so much busier on the inside. I was originally thinking about going with the orange, but I decided against it. So that's basically our build. Let's go to the exterior now. Let's switch on over. And this is our build. What do you guys think? Orange color with the pewter wheels and the high wing spoiler with the gray interior, Z51 package, no side blades, nice and clean look. Let's take the Targa roof off. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. The only thing that I'm mixed about are these pewter wheels. I'm waiting to see them in person. I think they look nice in the visualizer. However, I will form a final judgment once I see them in person. But the big question, will this have me switching over from my GT350? I don't know, guys. I'll wait to see what the pricing looks like on this spec car with the 3LT and the Z51. This is more of a higher trim spec. So we'll see what the pricing looks like, but at initial glance, I'm gonna keep my GT350. I'm still engaged with that car. I still have fun when I drive it. I look forward to driving it. As I mentioned in my ownership video of the GT350, that Voodoo engine in it, the V8, it just sounds magical every time I drive it, and having the ability to roll through my own gears with the 6-speed manual shifter, it just adds to my driving experience, and I think it has me engaged or continuously engaged in the GT350. So for me, I don't know, like I said, I'm going back and forth. I'll wait to see the pricing, but for now, I think I'll stick with my GT350 and wait for a higher level trim with possibly a wide body package. And who knows, maybe Chevrolet will surprise us with a 7-speed manual in a Z06 or a Grand Sport or a ZR1 later on in the future. I'd like to hear your thoughts and what your configuration of the new C8 Corvette is, so drop us a comment down below. That's the end of our video. Thanks for watching, and as a reminder, since we're a small channel trying to grow, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay up to date with our content. And as always, till next time, drive steady.